I met a gypsy.
You know, people like a motocross racer, like look at like a Haiden Deegan. I'm like, I don't want to like live like Haiden, but I respect his riding a lot. I think
gnarly.
like he's just gnarly, and that's cool. And that's one person in the sport where I've always wondered. I'm like, man, it'd be interesting to. I think we've talked about a little, like just talk with him because he's a lot younger than me actually, but we're probably two of the only people that have really gone through this gauntlet of the like famous dad that was in the industry or sport, and then trying to climb your way up to like make a name for yourself in it. And he's done far more, I think, than I would have done in skating because he is like the face of motocross now. But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear, like, I don't know, I guess just a conversation.
Yeah. Dude, it has to be, I mean, the thing with skating though is I feel like there's so many ways to skin that cat.
Motocross is so black and white.
It's so one way.
You either win or you lose. I mean, there is like free riding now, but like to be like the face of the sport, you have to be
the Supercross champion,
podium material at Supercross, Motocross, and then skate. It's like I don't think I've ever even got like one good contest result in my life, and that's from the few that I've skated. It just doesn't matter in skateboarding. The contest thing, it's so subjective. It's all like it's own art thing. Everyone's different. And the motocross is like people look different, but at the end of the day, whoever gets to the finish first is the hot shit, you know?
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. Like, you're an artist. Like, you see skating in a certain way in your mind. I'm assuming. This is not a skater, but it's like you have your skateboarding.
Yeah.
And then you do your skateboarding.
For sure.
And then people resonate with your skateboarding. And that is like being an artist. That's like
that's
being
like
a
Andrew Reynolds
musician.
Andrew Reynolds has said it before like that. It's like a video part is like a skater's album, and that's like how it resonates with people. Some people, you know, like you can be like, that album is subjectively great, but it's not my cup of tea. Like, it's not music that I'm really into. Like, you look at someone like, I feel like Nyjah gets a lot of that in skate, where it's like he's just so unbelievably good and you cannot deny that at all. But a lot of people, it's just not their type of skating that they prefer to watch.
Because it's just like hammer.
It's just hammers and just
hammer.
Clothing that maybe they don't agree with, whatever it is, you know. There's just so much nuance to skating that I feel like it hurts and helps a lot of people in that industry.
Yeah, and I think that is probably like, maybe skating would be the best industry to be the most famous dude's son.
For sure. I mean, dude, if I was a motocross racer and I was Haiden, I would not have been as successful as he is. So he's like much better in his realm than I would have been. But, you know, there was a point where I was skating well enough to get the sponsors that I have, and there was like moments of like success, and then that just is what it is, you know. Skating is just different, and I think a lot of people get kind of like huffy and puffy about who should be on what companies in skating, this and that, but at the end of the day, not many people really even make much of a living doing it anyways, and it's kind of just the reality of skating. I have tons of friends who are pro skaters who have their name on boards that work normal jobs, and they skate on the weekends because they love skating, and they dedicated their lives to it, and that's just like all they know. And it sucks to see, but that's just how it is.
Industry.
Yeah.
What would your, maybe not like advice, but like, what are some of the hard things of being a famous dude's son and then trying to go into the industry? Like, in terms of what Haiden would be up against.
I mean, man, I gotta say, like, if I was doing it nowadays like Haiden is with social media, I feel like it would have been a lot harder on me mentally, because that is all right there in his face, like, all the time. You know, like, I think.
And they even like invite more of it than they have to, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, he really puts himself out there. Like, I'm not like that. I'm kind of more like introverted and like introspective, to where I don't want to put my life on blast like that. And you see how he's just been trained through the family vlogs his whole life, and that's really working for him in that industry. But for me, like, there's no way I would have wanted to do that. Like, if my dad would have had like a reality show or something, I probably would have just said, I don't want to have any part of this. Like, you can exclude me as the child from the family for the show, at least, if that's like what's going on. But yeah, I mean, I think it would have been so much harder on me mentally seeing comments nonstop all day on my foot, like right at my fingertips, because there was YouTube when I was coming up, but like I wasn't going through the YouTube comments and trying to find people that hated me, you know. And I think he's got a pretty strong mental will to keep pushing through that, and I'm sure that only makes it more motivating for him to shut people up and put in the work. I mean, clearly you can see the dude is like, he's dedicated and he puts in the work, and it's paying off for him.
Did you see his post yesterday, Rones? See if it's still on his story or in his thing. Yeah. I honestly think he's been holding himself back too.
Yeah.
Like I think he's like way fucking gnarlier than...
I think he's going to start to come into more of his personality soon.
Yeah. Go to his story. I think dude, look at that. No.
Oh, the American overalls?
Did you watch it play this shit? Look at the fucking meme next to it.
Dude. I mean, this is the kind of shit I'm glad that I didn't have social media for when I was 18, because there'd be a lot of dumb shit like this on the internet of me. But I mean, hey, respect to him. Like, I think that he knows. I mean, you're seeing someone like him who is so like adapted to what social media is and can be used for, and he's like using it perfectly, and it's really paying off for him. I mean, what is it? 1.6 million followers. Like, that's no other moto dudes are nowhere near that
Not
amount
even
of.
close,
I mean,
dude.
I follow a lot of the moto guys, and it's kind of shocking how low some of their follower Instagram count is. It's not like that even matters, but you can just see that he's like same thing. He's kind of transcended the sport. He's more of like a kind of like a Nyjah, where it's like people outside of moto know who he is.
Yeah, and it's only gonna get more. Like, I feel like I don't know whether like Brian was holding it back a little bit. Like, maybe they were a bit, but I just feel like I feel like he maybe has got to the point where he like just feels like he belongs. He feels like he's good enough.
He seems
and
confident
now he's just like, you know what, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, even when I watched, he was on your podcast, he's like he's a kid. He is literally a kid. Yeah. Like, he doesn't know much about life, and it's not to his fault. He's just a kid. Like, I'm so glad that I wasn't doing podcasts and stuff when I was that age, because like, what would I even talk about? I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, I know how to skate. Skating is my life, and that's kind of all seemed like that's for him. But now you could tell he's coming like a guy, you know?
Yeah, and I think just like to have the confidence to say your own shit, and like he's wearing a fucking American flag.
That's one thing I'll say. He's like, we're in similar situations, but that dude carries way more confidence than I did when I was his age, because I was a kid that just wanted to smoke weed and play guitar in my room and then go skate and listen to, music. And like, the last thing I was trying to do was like create like provocative Instagram. Like, that was just not what I wanted to do in life at all. And I think that's just where the difference is. And I don't know. That's kind of the route I took, I guess.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.